champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building.
Jake Paul was ambushed on the streets by Andrew Tate, and truthfully, few were surprised it happened. New York descended into chaos on December 14th as months of escalating tension between the two finally boiled over. Their encounter wasn't scheduled, it was a chance meeting. But Jake, true to form, couldn't hold back, launching into a barrage of over-the-top insults. What came next was pure chaos, just as Andrew Tate had long warned it would be.
It's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would
Jake Paul has made a name for himself by constantly stirring the pot, whether it's calling out combat sports icons like Mike Tyson or strategically picking fights to protect his undefeated record. But what went down on December 14th was more than just another publicity stunt. This time, it was Andrew Tate, valued at $710 million and a four-time kickboxing world champion, who confronted Jake in the middle of a crowded street, clearly out to make a statement. And make it, he did.
That was Andrew Tate, in all his $710 million.
For anyone unfamiliar with Andrew Tate, one thing is clear, he doesn't do anything halfway. This wasn't some harmless run-in or online exchange. Tate confronted Jake Paul head-on, right in the middle of a packed street, surrounded by fans ready to record every second. It was a full-blown public reality check. And Jake? His usual cocky swagger faded fast. If his confidence had a volume knob, Tate turned it all the way down.
If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy, entitled dickhead like you. You know my name, Andrew Tate. Google it if you want to know more. Any day, anytime.
Confidence is Jake Paul's currency. It fuels his trash talk, powers his persona, and keeps 20 million followers hooked. It's the engine behind his brand and the hype behind every fight. But in that moment, all of it vanished. Because Andrew Tate isn't just another internet personality Jake can dismiss with a smug one-liner. He's not one of the hand-picked opponents Jake's team lines up to keep the win streak alive. This was Andrew Tate, a completely different caliber of threat.
Come on, work. Let's go. Work. Come on, Marcus. Keep going. Work!
Come on, fight!
Make it. Hey. 50 seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk, Steve. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, work. Work. Good. Work. 10 seconds. Work.
Jake's body language told the whole story. Andrew Tate didn't need to raise his voice or throw a punch, his sheer presence and calm dominance spoke volumes. Jake, who normally feeds off confrontation, looked visibly unsettled. And when the guy known for his loud mouth and lightning-fast comebacks goes silent, you know it's serious.
Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows. He knows way.
One, he's under contract. And
he's
two,
not his own boss.
And two, he won't do it. He knows better. He might
and it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul and will never buy.
This wasn't some random, heat-of-the-moment encounter. Andrew Tate's confrontation with Jake Paul had been brewing for months. Jake has built his brand by calling out big names, often long past their prime, while sidestepping real threats. Tate wasn't fooled. As a lifelong combat sports veteran, watching Jake carefully curate his fights must have been infuriating. And when Jake went as far as to call him a washed-up fighter, that crossed a line Tate was never going to ignore.
I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you. So this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer.
Tate didn't confront Jake Paul for attention, let's be honest, he's not hurting for clout. And it definitely wasn't about money, he's already made more than enough. This was about sending a message. In the world of combat sports, respect isn't handed out for viral moments or social media stunts, it's earned in the ring, against real opponents. That's something Jake has been accused of avoiding time and time again. Tate wasn't there for theatrics, he was there to give Jake a reality check on what true respect in the fight game really means.
When you see some of these crossover fights, obviously I know that you and Jake Paul have had your disagreements. Do you think that Jake's gotten better as a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know?
December 14th began like any ordinary day until it turned into a spectacle. In the middle of a packed street, with a crowd forming a ring of anticipation around them, Andrew Tate stepped in. Fans whipped out their phones, cameras were rolling, and within minutes, the internet lit up. Clips of the confrontation spread like wildfire, and hashtags like hashtag Tate vs. Paul, hashtag Jake Paul exposed, and hashtag respect the game shot to the top of trending lists. Jake Paul has built his entire identity around being untouchable, the outsider who barged into combat sports, defied expectations, silenced doubters, and turned controversy into currency. His rise wasn't about tradition or pedigree, it was about swagger, self-belief, and a relentless drive to prove everyone wrong. That near-arrogant confidence became his trademark, fueling viral trash talk, bold fight predictions, and a brand that blurred the line between spectacle and sport. Love him or hate him, Jake knew how to control the narrative. But when Andrew Tate stood across from him, that narrative cracked. This wasn't another influencer fight or a past his prime opponent. It was a face-off with someone who didn't flinch, didn't play into the show, and didn't need the hype. In that moment, the usual Jake Paul of the smirks, the cocky remarks, the puffed-up bravado vanished. What remained was a silent shift, a visible break in the persona he'd so carefully crafted. Tate brought a different energy rooted not in clout chasing or promo stunts, but in a lifetime of fighting. His confidence wasn't performative. It was the quiet, commanding presence of someone who's earned every ounce of respect through grit and blood. He didn't need to raise his voice to make Jake feel small. His reputation did that for him. For the first time, Jake looked like he was standing across from more than just a headline or a payday. He was facing the embodiment of everything he's pretended to be, a real fighter, unshaken by lights, cameras, or theatrics. And in that moment, Jake's invincible armor didn't just crack, it started to peel away.
Two brothers, one cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet beefs. I'm really trying not to.
You could say Jake and Logan, man.
Bro,
don't worry about it.
No, I can't lie. Bro, I'm going through life. I'm trying to live peaceful now. I've got Fed agents in my house. Matrix is after me. I'm just trying to live peaceful. But of course, I have absolute faith in myself and my brother, and I know what we've been through, and I know the kind of men we are.
Andrew Tate didn't have to raise his voice or throw a punch, his presence alone was enough to shift the entire energy of the encounter. Towering and composed, with the credentials of a four-time kickboxing world champion, he carried the kind of authority that doesn't need theatrics. Jake Paul, usually quick with a quip and confident in confrontation, looked visibly shaken. He tried to play his usual game, snappy comebacks and swagger, but this time, nothing landed. It was clear, this wasn't a moment he could bluff or banter his way through. The internet responded instantly. Once the footage hit social media, it was open season on Jake's carefully curated image. Memes flooded every platform: Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, mocking everything from his stunned expression to the power imbalance in the exchange. Some likened it to a teenager getting humbled by his father, others simply labeled it the day Jake's ego took a knockout. Meanwhile, Andrew Tate's profile surged. Even those who weren't fans had to admit, his calm dominance was impossible to ignore.
I'm sorry. Look, Andrew, fighter, legitimate, badass motherfucker, strong mentality. Sorry, Tristan Tate is the weak link.
I say let's run
he got a bad shoulder. He's shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's delusion.
PFO will set this up.
A MMA double tag team match.
10 million for everybody.
You might have a fight. You might have a fight on your hands.
That would go crazy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. No, seriously.
I'm
let's
about
do
the
it.
action. Like I'm less talk now. Let's just fucking go.
Yo, but you know for a fact, me and Jake will travel to Romania. We will make this happen. We'll do it wherever you want, whatever conditions you want.
The confrontation sparked an immediate firestorm. Was Andrew Tate justified in calling Jake Paul out so publicly? Or was this just another clash of oversized egos feeding the non-stop spectacle of modern combat sports? The community was split. Fans, pundits, and fighters weighed in from all corners of the internet and the ring. To some, Tate's move was a necessary reality check, an attempt to peel back the gloss of influencer boxing and confront what they saw as a growing disconnect between fame and merit. They viewed Tate not as a provocateur, but as a purist defending the core values of combat sports: discipline, grit, and respect earned the hard way. For this camp, his actions weren't personal, they were principled. But others weren't buying it. Critics saw the encounter as pure performance, a high-stakes publicity stunt engineered to keep both names in the headlines. To them, it had little to do with honor and everything to do with metrics. Views, likes, shares, and trending hashtags were the real prize. In their eyes, Tate and Paul were cut from the same cloth, masters of controversy, fluent in spectacle, and constantly feeding a media machine that thrives on conflict. No matter which side you were on, one thing was undeniable: the moment struck a chord. This wasn't just another viral clip. It tapped into a deeper conversation about where combat sports are headed. Are we watching fights, or watching narratives? Is legacy still forged through blood and sweat, or can it now be built on viral moments and hype? The encounter between Tate and Paul became a flashpoint, a collision between the sport's old-school roots and its new-age reinvention. And as the dust refused to settle, one thing became increasingly likely: this rivalry is far from over. It's not just a feud, it's a symbol of a sport at a crossroads, and it may well culminate in the kind of fight that defines an era.
To an old man who's retired. I live in the real fucking world, Jake. There's a whole bunch of fighters out here who live in the real fucking world. Men who are dangerous and dedicated their lives to this sport and don't have a fucking fraction of the money you have because you managed to become a fucking clown.
This wasn't just a heated encounter between two personalities, it was the collision of two competing ideologies, each symbolizing the contrasting directions in which combat sports are evolving. Jake Paul represents the modern, media-driven era where viral fame can outweigh technical skill, and the biggest fights aren't always about rankings, but revenue. His rise hasn't followed the traditional path of grueling amateur bouts or battles against seasoned pros. Instead, it's been powered by digital dominance, orchestrated matchups, and a knack for generating headlines. For Jake, boxing is as much about building a brand and owning the spotlight as it is about the fight itself. The gloves are on, but the real game is in the clicks, views, and pay-per-view numbers. Andrew Tate, meanwhile, is cut from a different cloth. He represents the old guard, a school of thought that views combat sports as sacred ground, where respect is earned through hardship, mastery, and unrelenting discipline. With a background steeped in real fights and rigorous training, Tate doesn't see the ring as a stage for spectacle, but as a proving ground where only those truly committed to the craft belong. He values the warrior's code, one forged in sweat, blood, and years of dedication, not in followers or flash. For him, combat isn't a shortcut to fame, but a lifelong pursuit of excellence and self-respect. Their face-off wasn't just personal, it was symbolic. A moment that laid bare the growing divide in the fight world between traditionalists and entertainers, between purity and profit. It raised an uncomfortable but essential question: what defines a fighter in today's world? Is it the grit shown in the ring, or the influence wielded online? In many ways, this confrontation was the embodiment of the sport's identity crisis, an ideological standoff between its storied past and its unpredictable future. And as the debate rages on, the outcome may well shape how the next generation of fighters and fans define greatness.
Keep going. Come on, work. Let's go. Work. Come on, Marcus. Keep going. Work. Come on, fight. Make it. Big seconds. Come on, 20 seconds to walk. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
For Andrew Tate, this wasn't just about calling out Jake Paul, it was about challenging what Jake represents, a growing shift in combat sports where flash is favored over foundation, and fame is fast-tracked through social media clout rather than blood, sweat, and sacrifice. In Tate's eyes, Jake embodies a new era where influencers skip the grind that defines true fighters, gaining prime spots on fight cards through charisma, controversy, and calculated matchups instead of merit. While this formula may captivate casual fans and generate big numbers, Tate sees it as a threat to the very core of the sport, a dilution of its values. For him, this confrontation was about protecting the legacy of those who've paid their dues in silence, the fighters who've spent years in dingy gyms, absorbing punishment, mastering technique, and climbing the ranks without shortcuts or spectacle. By stepping to Jake, Tate wasn't just asserting his own credibility. He was taking a stand for the purists, for the forgotten warriors grinding in the shadows, and for the belief that true respect in combat sports is earned, not manufactured. This wasn't just a personal clash, it was a symbolic stand against the commodification of the fight game. Tate's message was clear: viral fame might buy attention, but it won't buy legacy.
You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
Jake faced a harsh fallout. His carefully crafted image took a serious blow, shaking the confident persona he had built over the years. The backlash was swift and unforgiving. Critics came out in full force, questioning not only his abilities but his very legitimacy in the world of combat sports. Each loss became ammunition for longtime skeptics, casting doubt on his previous victories and credibility. In contrast, Tate walked away with a decisive win, gaining not just exposure but genuine respect. He didn't just challenge Jake, he followed through, proving his claims about honor, authenticity, and the essence of being a true fighter. For Tate, the victory wasn't merely about seizing the spotlight, it was about upholding values many feel are fading in today's entertainment-focused fight scene. This moment cemented his position and left a lasting imprint on both fighters' careers and the combat sports world as a whole.
The best boxer on the planet is Jake Paul. Why? I mean, who's doing it? I mean, if Mike Tyson says, let's do this, are you down? 100%.
I'm gonna make Mike my girlfriend.
Would you fight Mike Tyson? Again, no, because he's now old, and I would be an absolutely tragic shame to knock out an old version of his prime self. That doesn't feel fair. Prime Tyson would have ripped me apart in a boxing match, so to beat him when he's past his prime just feels dishonorable, and I'd feel dirty for doing that. So there's no amount of money on the planet that could convince me.
The burning question now is, what's next for Jake Paul and Andrew Tate? Their rivalry has captivated a global audience, and fans are clamoring for an official fight to finally settle the score. Online, the buzz is non-stop, debates rage, predictions fly, and speculation is at a fever pitch over how this clash would unfold. Many argue Jake is outmatched, citing Tate's deep combat background, precise technique, and mental fortitude. With years of kickboxing under his belt, Tate is seen by some as the clear favorite. Yet others see a different story unfolding. They believe Jake's youth, relentless drive, and rapid progression as a boxer could give him the edge. His discipline, grit, and ability to thrive under pressure are qualities supporters say make him a real threat. As anticipation continues to mount, one thing is undeniable: if this fight becomes reality, it won't just determine a winner. It will mark a pivotal moment in both of their careers. One that could redefine their legacies in the combat sports world.
I'm known as a fighter in a way that he never will be. I'm known as a fighter in the way that if you throw me in a cell with a murderer, a rapist, and 2 drug dealers, people look at me and go, okay, respect. He would have left with a higher male body count than his fiancée. That's how he would have left.
One thing's certain, this rivalry is far from finished. It's more than just a clash of personalities, it's a high-stakes battle driven by pride, ego, and the need to prove who truly deserves a place at the top. Whether it culminates in a high-octane fight or continues to unfold through online drama, the world will be watching, eager for the next chapter. Fans, critics, and fellow fighters are all on edge, waiting to see how the story develops. The spotlight now turns to Jake. Will he step up, demonstrating growth, resilience, and the heart of a true fighter? Or will he stick to safe territory, leaning on hype and showmanship rather than risking it all for legacy? For now, all eyes are on his next move, and only time will reveal how he chooses to answer the challenge. Let me know if you'd like an edgier or more poetic version.
Jake Paul can fight. It's not like Jake Paul can't fight.
Yeah.
Jake Paul just won't fight.
Like me, he mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Froch's talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday. I'm doing all right. There's no problems with my fight.
2 brothers, 1 cage. Jake Logan, you Tristan. Who comes out alive?
You know what? I'm trying so hard to not start internet.
This confrontation wasn't just a one-off spectacle, it was a wake-up call for Jake Paul, a stark reminder that respect can't be earned through trash talk alone. It marked a turning point, revealing the stark contrast between flashy showmanship and authentic skill, between building a brand and forging a legacy. Andrew Tate drove the message home: clout might get attention, but without respect, it holds no real weight. His statement echoed far beyond the ring, reinforcing the idea that true recognition comes through grit, discipline, and facing real competition, not through viral fame or online theatrics. For Jake, this moment could be the start of a deeper reckoning, a chance to reflect on what it truly means to earn respect in the unforgiving world of combat sports.
4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out.
For fans, this was more than just a spectacle, it was a revealing moment that exposed the growing divide between traditional combat sports and the rise of internet-fueled showdowns. It underscored how the boundaries between legitimate athleticism and social media celebrity are becoming increasingly blurred, sparking intense debate about the authenticity and future direction of the sport. Some viewers embraced the chaos, drawn to the entertainment and unpredictability. Others, however, saw it as a disservice to the values of discipline, respect, and dedication that define true fighters. For Jake, this may have been the wake-up call he never expected, a pivotal moment that could prompt him to rethink his path, sharpen his skills, and realize that lasting success in the ring demands far more than viral fame and self-assurance.